Just getting ready, folks. Let me play some music while I get ready. Just hang on, everybody.
Chilling on the couch, there was nothing on the telly. Then I got to thinking, man, life is kinda smelly. What if we are trapped inside of a simulation? This whole world's just a damned abstraction. What if this whole life was built upon a bunch of code that all went horribly wrong? As if life's programmers got together in a room and She-Ra pointed the way to our doom. Adding idiotic things like React and Vite, as if extra steps to JS would make things alright. AI morons everywhere.
What's up, Falco? Good to see you, man. Appreciate you popping in.
The thing STDs to us all bring. Memory safety won't save coders who aren't brave. Tailwind saves you CSS, so your brain you use less. What if life were like this too? Abstractions ruining all we do. Thinking about this really hard, must be real. A simulated world of poor code, I appeal. Ain't no way we live in peak branch prediction. Not with coders found guilty of coding dereliction. Whose code brings nothing but performance malediction. When AI safety guardrails eases the seduction. What happened to the world of bits? Each one crying tears in pits. Just before the CPU scoops all them up and turns them into bugs, a grand hardware flop. AI morons everywhere, no awareness anywhere. Must crate, install the thing, STDs to us all bring. Memory safety won't save coders who aren't brave. Tailwind saves you CSS,
One
so
sec,
your brain
one
you
sec.
use less. What if life were like this too? Abstractions ruining all we do. Here's a hint, it's not your lint or your TypeScript hint or bloated Git. Bit by bit, it's all your fault. Everything's seg faults, it's your code, you fool. You're just a tool. Grow some balls, stop taking falls. Your code appalls, performance lulls. Bugs they brawl, PRs recalled. Security issues in your brain are small. Wish you stood tall behind that.
I'm ready. I'm gonna turn down the music. We'll get this party started. Let me make sure. I feel like I don't have the right articles. I guess I do. Yeah, I guess that's it. All right, folks. Welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. Elko, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. If you're watching on YouTube or Rumble or LinkedIn or wherever you're watching from, I appreciate you coming in and watching. You guys are awesome. Thanks for all the support. I did just have a discussion. I was hoping it'd be more of a debate, but it ended up being more of a discussion on X. You can go on X, just look me up on X, and it's there. I've reposted it. It's recorded, so it's about vibe coding, and it was constructive, but I was kind of hoping for, like, I don't know, somebody who is like a really large proponent of AI and vibe coding to come on and, like, really tangle, but that wasn't the case. But we still had a good discussion about it, so that was good. So I'm just going to get into the daily tech news as I typically do, and I'll spend about like 40 minutes or 50 minutes or so, and we'll cover the news articles I have for the day, and then I'll let you guys go off and do your thing. Hey Ross, how's it going, man? Yeah, Ross was there too. Man, I'll tell you, I know there's not a lot of viewers right now. I don't know, I have like less than 10, I guess. But man, for what it's worth, Ross on the Twitch side, he's also on the X side, and he got on that space on X, and he has some really good takes on vibe coding and the consequences. Definitely go give that a listen. You might have to get through some stuff that's like, yeah, we all know this, blah 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 blah, talk away. There wasn't much pushback, but some of the information was really, really good. Some of the perspectives were really good, and it wasn't that long. It's about like an hour and a half at most. It's not too long. So I would encourage you to go have a listen to that. It was not a terrible space. Yeah. Hey Ghost, how you doing? Hey Mike. Yospir, I started learning C++. It's great. I think I'm going to use it for vibe coding streams. Mike, that is a bannable offense. You are perma-banned off of my channel. What's going on, Mike? Good to see you. Vibe coding reminds me of how they used to program the holodeck in Star Trek. Not a huge fan for anything, but that's all I can think of when I see that crap. That's kind of right. Yep, that's kind of right. Absolutely. They hope it's a microservice. Damn. Yeah, so good to see everyone. Thanks for popping in. Ross, thank you for being on the X space earlier today. So like I said, if you want to catch that space, it's on X. I've reposted it on my account. Ross was there. We talked about vibe coding, etc. So I would say check that out. It was not bad. So let's get into the daily tech news. I kind of have a bit of a variety of things today, and it's a bit of a mixed bag. However, another day passes. I've been doing this for I don't know how long. What episode is this? This is episode, let me check the episode number. 26. I have done 26 episodes of the Daily Tech News stream. Guess how many episodes I've done where there have been zero serious security hack news? Can anyone take a guess? How many episodes have I done where I have not found at least one article with some serious security? Yeah, Laughing Panda. Hey man, how's it going? Yeah. No, not even one. Zero. Elko nailed it. If there's a mod, I think you can give Elko extra channel points. Elko gets extra channel points. Mike gets no reset on his points, okay? Because he brought up C++. So you don't get any resets, okay? Another day, another hospital leaking data. Actually, yeah, Ross. Yeah, Ross, you're not wrong. Shall we get into it, folks? Should we start? Given the status of 4chan today, it isn't going to be the first episode. Yeah. So, okay, that's actually a good place to start. I know 4chan got hacked. I have purposefully avoided news on 4chan. The reason why is I need to let some time pass in order for a lot of the details to come out as fully as possible. So I'm thinking probably next week I'll talk about it a bit, but I want to spend some time digging into that because it has so much attention. It's really hard to filter out what's like the noise and the good stuff. And I honestly don't have like that much time. I already spend inordinate amounts of time putting this together for you for free, okay? For absolutely free. You guys get top tier quality content. You get debates at the most logical top tier level. You get news at the most logical top tier level. You get scientific and academic data at the most top tier level. And then you get this guy building a video game in the most insane way possible. It's just top tier content all around, and I do it all for free. I don't have time for more crap, okay? So I'm gonna let some time pass. I'm also super humble. I'm the most humble. I'm gonna let some time pass on the 4chan thing, and then I'll get to it next week and go into it. Hey Chandu, how's it going, man? Good to see you. And yeah. Okay, so let's get into the news. Like I said, everybody watching on the different platforms, thanks for popping on. I appreciate it. Feel free to drop chats and messages and whatnot, even if you're on outside of Twitch. I can see all the chats, so it's all good. Feel free to chime in. Let me switch my camera, and we'll get into it here. I think it's this guy here. Okay, so first up. Oh, Canada, our home and native math prodigy land. We stole $65 million in crypto, but it actually wasn't Canada. We're just hosting someone who did this, and we're keeping them outside of the US. So what am I talking about here? Andian Medjedovic was 18 years old when he made a decision that would irrevocably alter the course of his life. In the fall of 2021, shortly after completing a master's degree at the University of Waterloo, the math prodigy and cryptocurrency trader from Hamilton had conducted a complex series of transactions designed to exploit a vulnerability in the code of a decentralized finance platform. The maneuver had allegedly allowed him to siphon approximately $16.5 million US in digital tokens out of two liquidity pools operated by the platform Indexed Finance, according to a US court document. Whoo boy. What's up, Waller? Good to see you. We can't jail a talent like that. That's right. Whoo boy. Index Finance's leaders traced the attack back to Mr. Medjedovic and made him an offer. Okay, so here's the offer. Return 90% of the funds, keep the rest as a so-called bug bounty, a reward for having identified an error in the code, and all would be forgiven. Mr. Medjedovic would then be free to launch his career as a white hat or ethical hacker. Now, Mr. GigaChad, based GigaChad, what do you think this based GigaChad did? Did he take the deal, folks? Now, you see, up here in Mooseland, he woke up, he chugged a liter of maple syrup. Okay, he said hello to his moose roommate, and then got out of his igloo and said, "No, I will not take this deal." He didn't take the deal. His social media posts hinted, without overtly stating, that he believed that because he had operated within the confines of the code, he was entitled to the funds, a controversial philosophy in the world of decentralized finance known as code is law. Now, instead of testing that argument in court, Mr. Medjedovic went into hiding. By the time authorities arrived on a quiet residential street in Hamilton to search his parents' townhouse less than 2 months later, Mr. Medjedovic had moved out, taking his electronic devices with him. I have to say, not only did this based GigaChad siphon $16.5 million and then go, "I'm not taking any deal you offer me, even if it's above $1 million. By the way, what's up, MyTech on YouTube? Good to see you, man. He had the presence of mind to be like, yo, these guys are going to track me down. I probably shouldn't stick around here. I should probably get out of town. So when I told you that he chugged back some maple syrup and got in a moose and took off, I kind of meant it. He probably had a few mooses. He had like a fleet of mooses, but he took off with the money. Then, roughly 2 years later, he struck again. So, boys, it ain't over. Netting an even larger sum, approximately $48.4 million, by conducting a similar exploit on another decentralized finance platform, U.S. authorities allege. Mr. Medjedovic, now 22, faces 5 criminal charges. But he's got like what? $70 million? Oh, Canada. Our math kicks the US's math's ass. Our moose is better. Just think of the maple syrup he could buy. You can just see this guy strung out on a Vancouver street somewhere in BC, you know, my local town. And he's doing like the whole, like, you know, he spent like $70 million on maple syrup. He's like, I just need one for the road, man. Just one more for the road, man. Just one more hit for the road, man. Mr. Medjedovic, now 22, faces 5 criminal charges, including wire fraud, attempted extortion, and money laundering, according to a U.S. federal court that was unsealed earlier this year. If convicted, he could be facing decades in prison. First, authorities Have to find him. The leaders of indexed finance didn't know Mr. Majedovich's age when they publicly accused the teen of exploiting their platform. We knew he was a master's student, so we believed he was older. But he wasn't a typical student. This Canadian in Hamilton, Ontario, who went to Westmount Secondary School, with its known for its unconventional self-directed approach to learning, who took top spot in a regional coding contest. His parents repaired computers for their neighbors. He completed high school at an accelerated pace. At his 15th birthday, he started his undergrad studies in pure math at the University of Waterloo. He finished what is typically a 4 years bachelor's program in a brisk 3 years, then breezed through a master's degree in a single year. He listed Putnam competition score as 39, a result in an annual North American undergrad math contest that, if accurate, would render him a math genius. He received scholarships and came close to winning a cash prize in a university math contest called the Bernoulli Trials. He also listed several rather exalted hobbies on his CV: meditation, playing blindfolded chess, and crypto trading. Boys, we cook 'em different up here in Canada. You know what I'm saying? They come out the womb different up here. This, like it or not, this, bros, is top tier math talent. Canadian moose talent. All right? Straight out of an igloo. So I don't know what's going to happen to this guy, but you can read the article for yourself. It's not hard to find it, but I thought this was extremely interesting. I think this is, in my personal opinion, this is another blow to crypto and people who think that crypto has who have hyped crypto in the same way that AI got hyped. Where is crypto now? Although, arguably crypto does have its place in some big areas. So I got to be careful what I say. And I also don't know a heck of a lot about crypto, not anywhere near as much as I know about AI for comparison. So I'm being a bit cheeky here because it's fun to make fun of the crypto bros. But Web3 and no code and low code and crypto and AI and all that, they're all the same, aren't they? It's all just a bunch of cult members. Anyways, I did think also what was interesting is code is law. I had never heard of this before. It's based on a straightforward premise that if the code governing a platform permits a user to do something, then the action is legal. So if it's built into the code that you are allowed to execute certain conditions because it's part of the code base, then you can't make a reasonable legal argument that it's not allowed because the code allows for it, right? I thought this was interesting. I don't have a lot to say about it right now, but I'm going to look into it a bit more because that is an interesting philosophical argument to make. And I have some wild ideas about this, so I'm going to leave this be, but I really thought this was an interesting argument, or an interesting article, sorry, to bring up at the top of the stream. Let's move on to the next one. Hey, Ross, bro. Bro. Ross, bro. Ross. Ross, bro. Ross. Hey, Ross. Hey, bro, you there, bro? You there? Hey, Ross. For those of you watching on other platforms, Ross is on Twitch. He is also on X. And he hates how often I find articles like this where healthcare data is consistently breached. And here we go. Millions of UK healthcare worker records exposed in massive software breach. It's a huge, unprotected online database. Once again, folks, I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say this, but it's probably going to be a large number of times. We have lost fundamental awareness of how the tech industry runs. Basic things that people should know in our industry is like esoteric, mythical knowledge. And I almost squarely put this at the feet of abstractions, frameworks, libraries, things that obfuscate what's going on in favor of making programmers feel good about what they're doing without actually knowing what they're doing. And AI vibe coding is just a speed run version of that. A huge unprotected online database should never happen. It's 2025. We should never, ever, ever be seeing this. That should be a de facto default standard for how you operate in this space. Somewhere along the way, we've forgotten how to do that. Let's read the article. Security researcher Jeremiah Fowler found a database of 1.1 terabytes in size containing almost 8 million files, including images and PDF files, work authorization documents, national insurance numbers, certificates, electronic signatures, timesheets, user images, and government-issued identification documents. Further, the archive contained 656 directory entries indicating different companies, the majority of which were healthcare providers, recruiting agencies, and temporary employment services. So he notified the company of the database, and then they locked it down. Now, Fowler has found dozens of similar instances, including ClickBalance, which has more than 750 million records, DM Clinical Research, over 1 million clinical records, and ServiceBridge, 31 million. So Ross, just to kind of like put some lemon on that wound, some lemon juice, on that wound, this article kind of smuggles in at least 3 other cases found by this one researcher alone of clinical data breaches. So it's not just this. And essentially what they're implying here is that the archive was unlocked. It's just an unlocked open database. You just find it. You just search for these things. There are ways to search for these things, like S3 buckets, for example, or databases that are just publicly exposed. As long as you have the right, you find an IP address, which is honestly not hard to get your hands on these days. They're all over the place, and you have a password. But in this case, you probably don't even need a password, because that's the point of it being unlocked, right? There's no security, and you just find all the data, and away you go. Okay, let's move on to the next one, shall we? Now, even though we just went over how this guy, Canadian-born moose math, prodigy, schooled crypto for $70 million and is now hiding out somewhere in Canada. For all I know, he's like somewhere in my, in my neighborhood. For all I could like run into him tomorrow. Unfortunately, Canada also kind of sucks. CRA accounts hacked after 28,000 social insurance numbers stolen in data breach. Oh, Canada, your security sucks. Spend less time drinking maple syrup and lock down your damn information. So, H&R Block is it's a Canadian tax company, eh? I think they exist in the U.S. if I remember correctly. I don't remember, but you see them all over the place up here. So essentially, what happened was someone hacked into the Canadian Revenue Agency, which is the equivalent of the United States IRS, and filed a bogus return in Alberta, which is a province equivalent to a state in the U.S. for you Merkins that think we all live in igloos up here. We do, by the way, we do. And that stated tax preparation company H&R Block was their new authorized representative. So what you do is if you have someone who files taxes on your behalf, like an accountant, H&R kind of acts as a corporate accountant for you because they're like a company that acts as like an individual accountant. You have to authorize them to the Canadian Revenue Agency and say they are allowed to submit returns on my behalf. However, they were never authorized. And as a result of this method of creating a fake representative form that the Canadian Revenue Agency accepts as authoritative, they then used it to access information from the Canadian Revenue Agency. The stolen identities were from several Interior Health employees, past and present, and they have been used to obtain bogus CRA refunds and fraudulent loans in the past several years. I want to state how easy this was. I think I remember something about this. I might have already gone over it. Hang on one sec, folks. I should be better prepared. Yeah, no, it was up here. That's right. A bogus return that stated that the tax company H&R Block was their new authorized representative. I want you to understand how easy this is. If you just take like 2 minutes and you just go and look up what a return form is, like a tax return form, filling one out and making it look legitimate is super, super easy. I mean, the effort level here it's pretty minimal. And in exchange, you get a few $1 million from the government. Listen, between this and this guy, you better watch out. We're not only coming after your money, we're coming after our own money. Our greed knows no end. It is insatiable. So watch out for Canada. You think we'll do ourselves in just as quickly as we'll do you in. It's like, we're all on the line here. I'm going to move on to the next article. I want you guys to be careful about this. Notion, mail. So if you know Notion, it's a note-taking, note-taking platform, and they're doing a new email client. They have AI integrated into it, and they have access to your Gmail. I'm not going to get a subscription here, and I don't think I need to. I think this says all it needs to say. I don't need to say anymore. Just watch out for this. It's an email client with built-in AI that reads your Gmail. What could go wrong? It's Canadian dollars, so it's like $1.50. It's true. Yeah, you're right, Laughing Panda. Yeah, like 1.5 million is like $1.50. Yeah. What's up, Lem? Good to see you. No, I don't even want to archive it. I don't think I need to say anything more. Just an email client that uses AI built in. I just stop with the AI crap. I thought this was a nice throwback. I won't cover this in full either, but if anybody remembers ActiveX, Microsoft is now blocking ActiveX by default in Microsoft 365 and Office 2024. I just thought for like some of the old timers here who are using canes to walk around, your back hurts. Every time you sneeze, you have to get a hip replacement surgery. For all you folks out there who are my viewers, you'll remember ActiveX. Just thought this was an interesting thing. It is now blocked. Okay. I also thought this was interesting. The CEO of GitHub says that you have to learn to code still, and you should do it as early as possible. Now, GitHub has gone in a lot on AI. I mean, GitHub offers Copilot, and it's built into things like VS Code. So I'm actually kind of glad to hear the CEO of GitHub saying, yes, you should learn to code, and it should be taught as a core subject in schools. Because what it does is I think he's actually kind of onto something here, and I'm glad to hear someone like him say it. It democratizes access to software development. Now, I don't want just anybody who's anybody to be able to jump in and, do coding. Like you have to, my whole stream is based on like we need to get back to understanding fundamentals. That's why I cover these news articles like this one, etc. Like, you know, doing debates on like, is React terrible for you? Is it cancerous to the tech industry? Hint, it is. You know, things like this, right? I want people to understand fundamentals, but you do have to learn it, right, in order to know fundamentals. So I'm kind of glad to see him say that. However, you could make the argument that he's saying that because it means more people will use the product that he is, you know, banking on, so to speak. Oh, there you go. 0x. By the way, 0x, good to see you. You're exactly saying that, right? It's like they want people to use the product that they've created. It's a catch-22. It's a dual-edged sword. I'm not sure, you know, which, it's hard to tell what his mindset is. How do I know what's in his mind? But if you're going to learn, please, we need you to learn fundamentals. Okay, stop with the abstractions. Stop with the obfuscated crap. Stop with people telling you that you cannot, you know, hand roll your own X, Y, or Z. You can, and it's not as hard as it's made out to be. Okay, we need people who can do that more. Not in full. You don't have to be like a fully comprehensive, aware of all the minute details of everything that goes on in every language. But please understand fundamentals. Please understand how to not do this. Please, this is so simple. We need more of you like this, okay? Where do I find these things? I have a few sources that I look at. I won't give them out here, but I go and I read all the articles manually. I pre-read them all, and then I try and set up like you know, a theme of like one article to the next, and try and make them a little bit cohesive as I go along. So yeah, that's how I pull it all together. Chrome extensions ask for too many dangerous permissions and see everything. I really don't think I have to talk too much about this. I have a few Chrome extensions up here. You can, well, it's covered over my face, but I have a few. I have like 5. But be careful out there. The Cyber News, the website, they had some researchers take a look at the popular 100 extensions that were recently recommended. 86 extensions gain highly dangerous permissions upon installation. Only a single extension didn't require any permissions that could be considered at least moderately dangerous to the user. And they go on to list what some of these, you can see it here. Man. You can see some of the extensions and the risk factor. They even have, it's interactive and everything, boys. It's interactive. Okay. And you can kind of like, just kind of use your common sense brain. Why would something like clear cache or even like, I don't know, the homey productivity new tab, mouse gestures, like, why do they need high risk permissions, or even why do they need so many high risk permissions? Why do they even need so many high risk and medium risk permissions combined? And if you look at the permission levels that come packaged in with these extensions, they can see everything you're doing. They can see everything you're doing, and they can store this data. So this is extremely dangerous stuff, and you have to ask yourself, do these extensions actually need these things? So be careful out there. Having too many people employed is the complete opposite of where this industry is headed. Yep. Yeah. So just be careful, and definitely look up this article and just make sure that like you're keeping an eye on what extensions you have in Chrome and what permissions they're using, because it's dangerous. The devil's in the details. What's considered high risk? Yeah, I mean, that's true. Yeah, what's considered high? Yeah, just you have to go and have a look and kind of judge for yourself the usefulness of the extension versus the amount of permissions. Here's like a counter take. Just because it's asking for a lot of permissions doesn't mean that a lot of permissions will be used. Like it doesn't actually mean that they're going to use these permissions for nefarious things, right? But the fact that they have them, you should be asking why. Do I really need this? That's all I'm saying. What's up, Delaney on YouTube? Yeah, I'll get to it, man. I've been really busy. I'll get to it as soon as I can. That's all I can promise for the time being. Less than a few days. How about that? In terms of like, I'll respond to you. We'll do a data. We'll figure out a data start stream time to work it out. uBlock or uBlock Origin. How much research has been done? I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything. I should go and look. I guess I should go and look. That might be an interesting thing. Google has used the risk argument to justify Manifest v3, which is basically intended to neuter ad block. Yeah, that's true. Yes. Yeah. Because they need access to the. Yeah, I should go and look at that. That might make for an interesting. I don't know. Maybe I'll bring it up on a daily tech news stream. I'm gonna make a note of that. Okay. Last two articles. And these ones, listen, bros, listen. If you weren't depressed by seeing this Canadian Chad math his way through $70 million of crypto, okay? If you weren't depressed enough by having this guy steal all your crypto money and then hide off in some moose land, you're about to be super depressed. You boys ready? Huge ransomware campaign targets AWS S3 storage. Attackers have thousands of keys. Would anyone care to take a guess how many different systems and websites and pieces of software rely on AWS S3 bucket storage? This is why we need people who understand what the hell they're doing in this industry. We are vastly underserved. A massive database of over 1,200 unique Amazon Web Services access keys have been amassed and exploited in a ransomware campaign. Administrators of exposed S3 buckets are finding their files encrypted, except for a ransom note demanding payment in Bitcoin. But bros, I know this looks bad, right? I know this looks bad because all of these keys are out there, which means they have access to all this data, and then they encrypt them. The extortion amount was about $25,000 per victim. Some victims are still unaware, which means all that data is out there. You can see there's a huge list of keys. I mean, this is really bad, right? I have good news. All we need to do is call up our Canadian math friend here, and he'll just math problem solve away. Just give him a few crates of maple syrup, ship it in a moose to his igloo wherever he's hiding out, probably up in the Yukon territories, and he will solve these problems. If you have been ransomware attacked with Bitcoin crypto, just call up your Canadian buddies up north. Problem solved. Now, where are these keys coming from? Public code repositories. Because of course, we've covered this multiple times. People put their secret credentials openly on platforms like GitHub or Bitbucket, and they don't even know. These are basic fundamental things that it's absolutely mind-boggling that people still do this in this day and age. Or during CI/CD deployment tool pipelines. So if you're in DevOps, you're going to have your keys inadvertently either misconfigured or deployed because of misconfigurations, or they might have weak credentials because CI/CD is a mishmash of so many different tools. It can be really difficult to keep your eye on the prize in that respect. You can have keys that are just publicly exposed. Sometimes you can even just go and hit a URL on a particular website to find a .env file that's just open, or a JSON config file. It's just open. There's no security. Or you just go grab them from leaks and breaches. Or This is something that I read on, I think it was 2 weeks ago on the Daily Tech News stream. People were literally using old old Stripe keys that had not been deactivated in order to generate legitimate looking Stripe transactions so that they can do phishing scams, so that they can hack existing Stripe websites with older keys, and so that they can attempt to hack Stripe itself, I believe, if I recall correctly. At least the first two. Maybe hacking Stripe itself might not have been included in that. I can't remember exactly. But they were just essentially using old Stripe keys that had not been like defunct, like nobody had turned off the keys. They just created a new key and left the old key in place, and the old key existed on some like old branch of a repository, and then they just grab the key and then they just go ham on it. So this stuff isn't even hard. I'm telling you, we're in the wrong business. If you actually want to make money, just put away your principles, stop caring about people, and do things like this. There's millions in it for you. And then just come up to Canada. Bring your money. Come up to Canada. We'll squirrel you away. All right? You'll be taken care of. Don't worry about it. And now for the piece de resistance. Okay? For all the French-speaking portion of the Canadian North. The piece de resistance, okay? The dead internet theory used to be a meme. It used to be a conspiracy theory. I think it's been true for a long time. And now it's proving to be true. Bots now account for over half of all internet traffic. Need I say more? For over half of all internet traffic. In the 2025 Imperva Bad Bot Report, I went and I actually grabbed this. You just have to put in your email. If you want to get the report, you can go get it. It's not hard. Found that this was the first time in a decade that 51% of all web traffic constituted bot traffic, attributing the shift largely to the rise of AI and large language models. Now, does anybody... Okay, hang on. I'm going to come back to this, okay? I'm going to come back to this because I want to see if anybody noticed something. But let's just read the details here. It's bad bots first. It argues that travel and retail sectors face an advanced bot problem where bad bots make up 41% and 59% of all traffic respectively. In 2024, the travel industry was the most attacked sector with 27% of all bot attacks, up from 21% the year prior. And we've covered articles like this before where AI bots do things like increase web traffic costs of just regular people's services from like $20,000 to like $400,000. I've covered this already. It's already happening, and people have to put up like cryptographic challenges in order to mitigate the mass amount of AI scraping that goes on, because AI scrapers will just completely ignore things like robots.txt, for example, which is a text file that is meant to be read by an AI scraper that says you cannot scrape this site, or you can only scrape certain portions of this site. Now, Byte Spider bot alone is apparently responsible for more than half, 54%, of all AI-enabled attacks. Other contributors include Applebot, Claudebot, and ChatGepetto. Not all bot traffic is malicious. There are many useful and essential bots like search engine crawlers, monitoring bots, social media bots, or data scraping bots, etc. but bad bots take up a hefty portion of all bot traffic. Okay. I am now going to read this one more time, and I want to see if anybody picks up on it. Vamp on YouTube says it depends on what they mean by the title. It can depend. Yeah, absolutely. That's like putting a sign outside the door that says, please do not rob me. Yeah. There are lots of ways to make a bot work like hell to scrape, and even then you can make it hard enough where they give up. There is, yes. You do have methods to do it. But then you're talking about like a vast majority of the internet has to do it in order to fight back against, the bot traffic. I'm going to read this one more time. The 2025 Imperva Bad Bot report found this was the first time in a decade that 51% of all web traffic constituted bot traffic. Does anybody pick up on anything here? What's up, Johnny, on Twitch? Good to see you. Vamp says I always add sleep to my scrapers. Yeah, that's a good idea. Vamp. I'm going to read it again. I'm wondering if anybody picked it up. The 2025 Imperva Bad Bot Robot, I keep saying that, damn it, report found that this was the first time in a decade that 51% of all web traffic constituted bot traffic. Anybody? Do. There you go. Ordinator. He got it. In a decade. So a follow-up question that I have. This is the one. Ordinator got it. What the hell was happening 10 years ago that over 50% were bots? And 0x, yeah, 0x adds exactly to that question. AI didn't kick off until about 5 years ago. So what? I would be very curious. I have to go into it. I can come up with some guesses. Like, well, let's have a look, shall we? So how did they measure this? You can go look at the the report itself to see exactly how they measured it. They essentially, if I recall correctly, they essentially have reports from a multitude of different like I guess companies or like things that operate in web, and they take their analysis of their logs and kind of summarize the analysis. I didn't read the whole thing in full because I didn't have much time to read it this morning, but it is out there and you can go grab it if you want. So don't quote me on that. My cursory glance, that's the impression that I got. I didn't do like a deep dive into the methodology so that I could, come up with like a better answer than what I'm giving you now, which is a pretty poor answer. So my apologies for not being able to give you a clear answer. But the report is free. You just put in your email and away you go. Now I have a suspicion that I kind of know what was happening a decade ago. Note what year a decade ago was in these charts. Okay, I'm gonna give the most charitable take that I can think of. DevOps kind of stuff sort of picked up a lot with the advent of like microservices and cloud infrastructure. And as a result of that, you had more of a need for monitoring a bunch of different services. And the monitoring necessarily means that you're going to have more kind of like bot-like things that have to go out and track all your different microservices, your NoSQL servers, etc. Now, why did microservices and, an increased number of cloud, is it an increased number? Let's just say an increased number of cloud services and DevOps requirements happen. React. Yeah, I'm just going to say it. React. Because of React and the abstractions and obfuscations that came with it, we went into this insane, crazy stupor where we decided that we're going to deal with everything the way that we dealt with React. And microservices were invented, and cloud infrastructure was invented, and now things have to run on clients on the edge, not on the server, and things became far more complicated. And then we see bots rising because you have to track all of that. And then we see CVE reports going through the roof. And now with AI, this is a short-term speed run of exactly what we're going to see, of exactly what we've seen so far. And you can see that in 2025, we're already at 15K, and it's April. React single-handedly created the dead internet. Just want to let you all know. That's what Meta did to you. Because people thought, and I'm actually going to be completely honest, because people could not fathom the concept of actually putting in a modicum amount of effort above what they were currently putting in, and they needed someone to create an abstraction to save them from the mental load that they felt like was too out of reach for them. And then things became insane because the graybeards were like, what the hell are you guys talking about? You guys are script kiddies. Back in my day, we walked uphill both ways in 10 feet of snow in order to compile some C code. And then all these React devs were like, oh, wait. I don't feel good about this because I don't have the same oppression and struggle that these graybeards had to do, and they created things that are far better than anything I can create. This doesn't feel right. So let's vastly overcomplicate what we have here, and so that we can say, look how difficult it is to build a website. And now we're at the same level as the graybeards who used to write C code or assembly code or punch cards. We are in the same oppressive level and the same cognitive load and the same amount of look at how much effort we have to put in. We are also graybeard programmers now. And what are the consequences of that stupidity? You see it before you. React killed your family, yeah. They started making bot farms to farm likes. Yeah. Social media. Yep. I could see that. Ray, good to see you, Ray, on YouTube. Hope you're doing well. What do you think about the famous image board hack? Yeah, I talked about this briefly kind of earlier in the stream. I'm avoiding covering it right now because there's so much noise around that. There are so many articles and so many different takes on what happened there. And I want to give it some time to let a lot of that noise come through so that I can kind of drill down into something a bit more condensed. I try and stick to about an hour for the streams, for the daily tech news stream, because I have other engagements and I was on an X space earlier, and I know there are people like Delaney on YouTube. He needs my attention so we can set up a time to do a data start stream. I have lots going on, right? So I got to let that settle down. I got to let it simmer down, and then I'll come back to it. Probably next week, I think, Ray. It started with OOP. That's right. Yeah. I don't know where React sites, but I think breaking down projects into components is the best we have for web. Maybe not Reacts, but it's a useful method. I don't mind. I don't mind breaking things down into components. That's complete. I think in principle that's fine. But the way you do it does matter. Absolutely. Yeah. Slop group chat, right? Yeah. Thanks, Gary. Or you guys are watching ads. Okay. I'll let the ads go through. So sorry, folks. Bezos wants his, Bezos needs his money because without it, he can't send women to space, right? So he's forcing ads on the Twitch side. I know on Rumble you don't get him. I know on X you guys don't get him over there. LinkedIn you guys don't get him over there either. So I'm just gonna let the ads go through. It's like another minute or so, less than a minute. Yeah. So Bezos needs 100 billion. Yeah. Yeah, Chandu, I do the news thing every single day. I'll let the ads play out and then I'll do my closing, and I'll include like where to find all this information, Chandy's, just so everyone has a fair opportunity to hear everything. Ray on YouTube, off topic question. What do you think about Windows 10 end of life? Will you switch to Windows 11? I'm already on Windows 11. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I'm seriously considering an ARC or something like that. I'm very much considering going off of Windows. I have to deal with some things that I have to deal with some things getting off of Windows, but I hate the direction they're taking. So, but I have a family. It's true. I do. I have a family. I know. Think of the children. Yeah. It's true. You have a point, Ross. Yeah. But I mean, I'm old now. I don't have much time left on this planet, so I hate it too, but many Windows exclusive tools I use are good enough to suffer. That's the problem, right? Is that there are some Windows exclusive things, and sometimes they come in handy for doing like IT administrative stuff for other people, or understanding tools that I need to help other people work through, etc. Right? So it's difficult. I have to sort through that. Okay, the Twitch ads are done. By the way, Gare Games on Twitch just subscribed with the Prime. Holy crap, dude! Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it, man. That means a lot. I really do. I appreciate that. Thank you. So look, like Chandu said, so Chandu on Twitch asked if I do this news thing every day. I do. So I'll give my closing and I'll kind of tie in what Gare Games just did and what Chandu asked. Folks, I do this every day. You'll see me here tomorrow doing another daily tech news stream. Everything is up for free on the live portion of my YouTube channel. Just Google my name on YouTube. I'm open on X. It's really not hard to find me. I'm on Rumble if you care about that. I do it on LinkedIn. I multi-stream everywhere all the time. So it's not hard to find me, and it's all for free. I don't paywall anything. I do have these tech news streams. So this is episode 26, I believe. I've done 26 of these. And so you can find this one and the previous 25. You can go all the way back and watch them all. I do a separate series of streams called Enlightened Programming, where I cover scientific and academic journals to back up claims that I make about the state of the tech industry. I will say it again. We're in a massive, massive decline. And I know that it doesn't seem that way. And lots of people have come to me and argued against this. Tech's never been better. I don't know what you're smoking, bro. I've had people on Reddit, on X, on YouTube, everywhere just say like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Nothing. This is like never. It's never been a better time to be in tech than now. And I heartily disagree. And instead of just saying that, the Enlightened Programming streams cover data like consumer satisfaction reports, CVE reports like this one as an example, case studies on cybersecurity issues, case study after case study after case study, the consequences of simple cybersecurity exploits being used out in the wild. For example, the code you write has a downwind impact on people you care about, who have nothing to do with the industry that you and I work in, because an exploit in your website because of a package you didn't check, or because of an abstraction that did something stupid that you didn't know about. These things can impact negatively people's lives. They can destroy lives. They can take away people's livelihoods. They can even, yes, 404 people. I have covered this ad nauseum on those Enlightened Programming streams. You can go back and catch them all on the on my YouTube channel, and I've titled them all as Enlightened Programming dash the title. I still have a lot more to get through. I have like, I don't know, it's going to be in the mid tens, like probably 40 videos overall. And that's just the ones I've gone through so far. And I have a huge backlog of articles, scientific and like academic articles to go through, including some opinion pieces as well, to lay out the arguments and hopefully empower people like you, so that when you have to go talk to that CEO or like technical leadership or your colleagues or whomever, and you need to make a case for why shouldn't we use React in this particular case? Why shouldn't we use, I don't know, like Rust or even C or whatever it is? It doesn't matter actually what it is, but hopefully it gives you the data you need to be able to make logical, objective reasoning for decisions that you make in this industry. And we desperately, desperately need that, especially with AI shipping out slop at a massive rate that we've never seen before. So that's all up there. If you like the messaging that I'm doing, that I'm trying to ship out here, if you like me arguing with people, like I have a video where I completely trash one of Theo's takes because it was a horribly stupid just series of takes. I literally just pull up Notepad and prove that Theo doesn't know anything, like he doesn't know what he's talking about. It was just really dumb. He does have some good takes, to be fair, but that it was a particularly egregious one. I don't care how big you are. I don't care who you are. I will argue with you about these things because I really, really care about programming. This is a very passionate aspect of my life, and I want us to do better. And I know that we can. We have a lot of smart people, and I'm making that call to do better. And I'm not just calling for it. I'm trying to give the information that you guys need to do better. And if you catch my chill streams, the video game that I'm building, I'm just using vanilla C, compiling, and then using vanilla HTML, JavaScript, and CSS to render the video game. And there's no WebGPL, no WebGPU, no WebGL, no Canvas. It's all DOM elements. It's all vanilla. It's all handwritten. The C code is a single file header library. I'm just going to prove it to you right now. There's nothing fancy going on here. It's just a grid of a whole bunch of div elements. I'm using the Canary version of Chrome. I'm going to pull it up right now. Here it is. I'm using the Canary version of Chrome on purpose so that I have all hardware acceleration turned off. This is more of a chill thing, but I do it because not only do I want to show you the information, not only do I want to cover the news, not only do I want to send this message, but high school dropout, used to be homeless, had to teach myself everything, can do something insane like this. And by the way, we have vanilla CSS 3D. Check this out. Yeah, that's right. Vanilla CSS 3D. Okay. That's right. Vanilla CSS 3D. Okay. All vanilla, no libraries, nothing. I'm also trying to lead by example. I'm trying to put my money where my mouth is, so to speak, right? So if you like what I'm doing, and you like the messaging, and you want to see me do more of this, and you want me to keep going, I need your help. Do the likes, do the subscribes, share the links, the reposts on X help, all of that. You guys are making a difference to my reach. I showed this yesterday. I just want to show it again. This is you guys. YouTube has been my the highest growing platform. X is growing quite a bit, but nowhere near as much as YouTube. This is insane growth. A lot of my videos are getting some like really good views and likes. You guys are helping me expand that reach. But ultimately the point of my streams is that I get the messaging out and we start to do better as an industry, and more programmers are empowered to understand fundamentals and make reasonable, logical, arguments for why we need to do X, Y, or Z, instead of, yeah, but my developer experience, yeah, but this is how I feel, yeah, but this worked for me, so it's good. These are all subjective, anecdotal experience based on absolutely zero objectivity at all. If we can start removing that and getting down to what this industry is about, which is logical reasoning, and you want me to keep trying to spread that message, keep helping me this way. It's working. You guys are helping me. It's actually working. Even though I hate the algorithm. Algorithms are super bad. They are societally bad, but it's the only way to get the reach that I need to continue spreading this message. So please keep helping me out. I'll do my best on my end to continue carrying that message. It would be great if more of you streamed as well. It can't just be me out here saying what I'm saying. So if more of you got into streaming or even just going on and talking about these things with other people, please do that too. And Gare Games, again, thank you for the sub, but I want to make it clear that this is not about the money. I'm not asking for your money. If you want to help me out financially, send me work. I'll work for my money. I'm not afraid of work. I'll work for it. I'll do contracts. I'll do whatever. Recommend me for work or something, right? I would rather do that. I don't want to take your money. I want to see us all make more money by doing better. That's what I want to see. So, please keep at it. Thank you again, everybody. And never asked. Yeah, feels low hanging fruit. Things to take care of. Yes. Yeah, you stream and you haven't recently. Yeah. Go watch Gare Games. Go watch Ross. I think I'm kind of trying to encourage Ross to stream as well. Yeah. So help people out, help other people out other than myself, because it can't just be me. Often, many days, it feels like I'm the only one doing it, but I know there's more of you out there, and it'd be great if more of you jumped in and spoke about these things. Absolutely. So yeah, that's it. I'm over time. I'm like 10 minutes over time. I try and keep these to an hour. I'm way over time, but I wanted to kind of like, cover the spectrum of things there as my closing. That was a big closing. I'm sorry, everyone. I failed you. Okay, I'm out of here. You guys are awesome. Thank you for all the support. I really do appreciate it. Please come back tomorrow. I will cover some more daily tech news. Hopefully I get to do another video game chill stream. I am thinking Saturday again. I don't have a time. It's really hard to pick a time to do these things and schedule me in. It's just difficult. It's just like a lot of moving parts in life. But I'll do my best to do a few more hours on the video game this weekend. Other than that, have a good day. Have a good night, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Stay safe out there, folks, okay? It's dangerous. Please stay safe out there. And I'll catch you later. Peace.